Let me just describe for a moment what I see in front of me. So you've got the sunset in Cape Town, and then behind it is the mountain, and in front of Parliament you have the bust of Nelson Mandela. So
Wow.
it really is quite a scene. The red carpet looks spectacular. It's really now awaiting the President to come and stand on it. Everything looks ready to go, I must say. Parliament always looks fantastic on these days, and the sound always works and all of those things. But you're going to be relieved when it's done tonight, right?
We would be. I mean, it's a big day not just for Parliament, big day for South Africa. People want to hear what the plans are for the next 5 years and even beyond. I mean, as I said, we have just come out of elections. Everyone is keen to understand what will be happening from this point on. So it's an important day. We want it to happen at 7 as planned. We want to hear the President. The country wants to hear the President. So after the State of the Nation address, there will be a debate next week on Tuesday, and then the reply by the President next week, Wednesday.
Minister, good to see you. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Stephen. Thanks for inviting me, and good evening to your listeners.
So you left the Department of Higher Education for a while. You went to Transport. You're back now. Have things changed?
Yes, there is some improvement, since I left about, 19, 20 months ago.
Are you expecting any announcements around higher education in your portfolio tonight?
Well, yes, I do expect the President actually to focus, firstly, on addressing the situation of young people generally, whether it's in terms of jobs, but also to emphasize the issue of access to skills.
Obviously, in a way, that's the biggest challenge we face is youth unemployment. I mean, it seems half of our young people are not employed or actually working. Do you think in 5 years' time we'll actually see a difference to that number?
The President has thrown in everything into mobilization of both domestic and foreign investment in a manner that perhaps we have never done so before, which we hope that out of that we will be able to see investments that will create opportunities for young people.
Obviously, the economy and jobs, these are the key things. They involve trade-offs, though. Do you think we're going to actually see evidence of trade-offs? In other words, some kind of policy coming through tonight?
Well, I hope so, because I really think that we are at that point now. This is the third SONA that the President has delivered. He is now elected, and therefore he has to act as if he's the President. And I think that if we don't have some clarity on SOEs tonight, particularly on Eskom, and also about the economy and how we can try, we can't fix it, but how you're going to try to get things in better shape with regard to youth unemployment, for example, and also the GDP numbers that came out just last week. So we have to have some clarity on these issues. The question is, of course, which battles President Ramaphosa is going to take on. This is going to be a pragmatic battle, and he's going to have to choose which ones he wants to fight, because he of course leads a party, despite what ANC Secretary General S. Magashila said, he leads a party which is deeply divided. He needs to lead, he needs to take the direction, but certainly the momentum has faded, and it seems a very long time, Stephen, since Tumamina, send us, send me, and the kind of lofty rhetoric. I don't think tonight is the moment for lofty rhetoric. We need a pragmatic plan. We need to know what the next year is going to look like, and it needs to have a few realizable goals, not a panoply of promises, none of which will be kept.
Am I giving you an open goal if I say, what are you expecting tonight?
Well, what we're expecting is concrete plans. I think the last two SONAs have been virtuous ends, and I think that the voters of South Africa, and I think analysts and international markets have given the President the benefit of the doubt. He now has an electoral mandate. It's now time for him to show the leadership.
When he announces, if he does announce reforms, are you going to be a loyal opposition and support him in some of those, or are you going to oppose for the sake of being the opposition?
Of course, we extend a hand across the aisle to the President. Where he enacts those reforms, we'll be his biggest supporters and getting him through the House. Where he falters, where he stutters, where he acquiesces to the loony left in his own party, we're going to be the first to be there to point out the errors that he's making. But of course, it's also incumbent on us to put on the table alternatives.
Have you seen the speech? Are you able to tell us what's said tonight?
Oh, no. It's never shown to anybody. It has never happened. We can all guess. My guess is as good as yours.
And your new department, how are you finding it?
Hey, I'm still learning. I'm learning lots of new things. Even today, this morning, I spent 3 hours being briefed about immigration in South Africa. If you look at it, it's talking about managing borders, not stopping people from coming in. Remember, It's not only human beings who are coming through the borders of South Africa. It's drugs also. It's counterfeit goods. It's stolen goods. It's criminals. It's people who come to terrorize others, either religiously or politically, etc. So it's a whole lot of things.
What are you expecting tonight?
Well, we expect the president to also talk about the importance of 4IR and how we think this will also make sure that young people who are unemployed play their part and are given an opportunity to participate, show innovation and other related things in as far as the fourth industrial revolution is concerned.
What are you expecting in the speech? Are you going to give us any hints?
Well, we will listen all like any other person as to what the president is going to say.
Presumably partnerships would include conversations around land.
Precisely. But what for me we need to appreciate as South Africans in this conversation that started in the 5th administration and surely to continue in the 6th administration is not to come at it with fear, but also look at it as a conversation that can allow us as South Africans to look at what are the opportunities for restructuring and reordering our spaces as South Africa.